The Dragon's Tears. In the curve of the River Min, the lakes looked calm and peaceful. They were filled with beauty, 24 in all. Maymay sat by the banks of the river, remembered at all, at all, at all, at all, at all. She remembered a time of struggle and sadness. Maymay lived with her young son, Chun Li. Their home was close to the river. Maymay worked hard to make a living for them both. She had a small paddy field, some chickens, a small plot of vegetables, some freshwater fish, and an old buffalo. Chun Li fished daily down by the river. One day, the pull of the line was much, much more than usual. This promised to be a fine catch, he thought. With a mighty splash and a silvery spray, a golden fish flipped out of the water and spoke. Chun Li, will you please throw me back in the water? I will repay you well. Chun Li gasped. A talking fish! He carefully removed the hook from the fish's mouth, and as he did so, a huge and gleaming pearl rolled gently onto his hand. He had never seen such a beautiful gem. This magic pearl will make your fortune, said the fish as it disappeared into the water. Chun Li ran back home, calling out to his mother. She was astonished to see such a magnificent pearl. Chun Li told her it was a magic pearl. He placed it carefully on top of a sack of rice. Straight away, there were 2 rice sacks. Next, they placed the magic pearl amongst a bunch of carrots. 2 bunches of carrots. A bowl of chilies. 2 bowls of chilies. A tray of prickly lychees. 2 trays of prickly lychees. A bunch of ripe bananas. 2 bunches of ripe bananas. A basket of newly laid eggs. 2 baskets of newly laid eggs. The boy and his mother were blessed with great good fortune. They used their fortune wisely. They shared well and enjoyed giving. Some people felt happy for them. Some people felt suspicious. Others were filled with envy, and a few decided to pay them a visit. One day, as usual, Maymay was busy feeding her chickens. She heard the sound of galloping horses coming nearer and nearer, and very soon she was surrounded by a mean and angry crowd. They demanded to know how she had become so prosperous. Maymay was terrified, and in her terror, she told the whole story. Now the crowd only wanted to know one thing. Where is the magic pearl? Maymay did not answer. They pushed her out of the way and entered her little house. They upturned everything in sight. Then someone opened the door of the cupboard where Chun Li was hiding. In his fright, he quickly put the magic pearl into his mouth. The people dragged him out and screamed, "Empty your pockets! Hold out your hands! Open your mouth!" shouted someone. Chun Li slowly opened his mouth, but there was no pearl. He had swallowed it. The angry crowd gave up their search and rode away. Maymay comforted her son, who was shaking. His body was hot and feverish. He cried for some water to cool him down. First, Maymay brought him cups of water. Next, she poured pails of water, but he could not quench his thirst. She took him to the river where he drank even more water. But Chun Li just became hotter. His body felt as though it was on fire. Steam poured from his mouth, fire flared from his nostrils, and Mei Mei saw that the boy's body was changing. Chun Li had changed into a dragon. What's more, he was rising up, up into the bright blue sky. Mei Mei wept for her precious son as he moved further away into the clouds, almost out of sight. She begged for him to come back. Chun Li's head turned slowly, and from the huge, sad eyes fell a great wet tear. It dropped in a curve of the river Min, and a beautiful pearly lake was born. There fell another tear, and another, and another. Each turned into a lake until there were 24 in all. Mei Mei could barely look up. When she did, a most magical thing happened. Her young boy, Chun Li, was rising from the mists across the lake and running towards her. She reached out her arms to receive him. The lakes glistened in the fertile landscape.